All right, welcome back to News Insight. The security issues between Nigeria as a whole is still under a very great spotlight, especially that of Kwara State. Sometime last week, some group of Miyetti Allah people were apprehended all the way in Auchi in Edo State, and they said that there's a security arrangement known to the office of the NSA and the Kwara State Government, and that they are in that security arrangement. But after the Kwara State Government kept mute for a while, they came out and said there was a covert operation, the car was given to them, the arms were given to them, but they told them to return it since. Now, what measures they took for them to return it is not known to anybody. Okafor.
You know, when Trump tweeted, sometime, it's becoming over a month now, that Nigeria as a country has been designated as a country of particular concern, that they are going to come into Nigeria, you know, to take out the terrorists if the government does nothing. People were shouting, blah, blah, blah. One, to be classified as a country of particular concern, it means that government complicity has been established. And to establish government complicity, it's either by action or inaction. Either by what government being actively involved in the genocide, in killing people, or choosing to do nothing while you see those happen, or even aiding them in some form. You see, when we begin to hear this kind of story coming out of Kwara, security architecture, where Bororos, militia, Fulani, militia, popularly known as Bororos and things like that, are being used to fight Fulani banditry, and the indigenes of the place saying, no, we are not going to accept this, we are not going to do this, and Nigerians are not even aware. You put it on that in the name that, oh, these are security matters. Covert operation by a navy, a naval officer, or a covert operation by a soldier, by a covert operation by our police, covert operation by our DSS, covert operation by who? By those not trained from the same tribe that are being accused, not being accused, for the same tribe that is disturbing Nigeria, the entire Nigeria. Ebuba said, here, what is happening in Zamfara? Fulani. What is happening in Benue? Fulani. What is happening in Plateau? Fulani. He said Fulani, only you be tribe where they Nigeria. And this is even a tribe that came to Nigeria and established themselves in Nigeria. You met people on ground. So now you are doing a security arrangement where you have indigenes there who are suffering from all this, and you could still go ahead, use these same people. I mean, what is happening in Nigeria? We need explanation. This is not about covert operation, because it's already in the open. What is happening? Does it mean that our police officers are not good enough? Our soldiers are not good enough? Our naval officers are not good enough? Our air force are not good enough? Even NICDC are not good enough? These people are not good enough for covert operation? So what training do they have? These Fulani people, these Fulani Vigilante that you are putting together, that the actual officers do not have. Truth remains that in our security, you have Fulani people, you have Hausa, you have Igbo, you have Yoruba, all Nigerians are there. So if you really want somebody to interface like an ordinary person, all you need is to pull off his uniform, and he becomes a covert operation. That's the real. But he must be a real officer. That is the covert operation. He must be a real officer. But since he can speak any language, like you go into East, you want to do covert operation, you look for those officers who are from Southeast, who speak Igbo. Because they speak Igbo, they can interface with the people. Join with them, even start market there, start something there. Just, you should use officers. I mean, you said something that sometimes we overrate these people leading us, because you don't want to, you want us to trust you that is a security matter classified, but the results every day, where are we? And one thing they should know is that terror, like I've said, terror is a global threat. It requires global response.
All right, now from what they said, the local government chairman was involved. That's the fellow local government, the state government involved, the office of the NSA involved. But from the beginning, the people of that Kwara South already said that you can't use evil to fight evil. We don't want this militia. We don't want this Miyetti Allah to be fighting their own brother, because they don't fight. They've been shouting this now. It's out.
My take here is that I wonder why the Kwara State Government will come to deny it. They actually denied it, that they didn't arm Fulani militias. They kind of went to do a covert operation. Let me read. I'm going to quote a source. Let me quote Sahara Reporters. On October 2nd, 2025, Sahara Reporter published a story highlighting opposition among Kwara State residents to alleged directive by Ribadu, the National Security Advisor. The directive reportedly involved controversial plan to deploy Fulani headers with AK-47 to guide who? This is a country that the exception has become the rule. National Security Advisor is an advisory position. He come up with a plan, he advise government. You shouldn't be the one coordinating it. This is a country that exception. Now it's not the rule. Now he's the one coordinating. Why? He went into a place. This is a locality that Fulani is the minority. They are less than 2%. And you arming them. The issue is there is that the locals are complaining that these people are suppressing them. These people are attacking them. You are still arming them to protect the locals. How? I'm subscribed to the fact that the security should be localized. But you take the images of the town. You don't take the minority. There's some person the majority training. Yeah. To come and be guiding who? And for the fact that they've come out, they resisted it. You went ahead to do it. And he has backfired. They were not caught in Kwara. They were caught in the far away Auchi. Now you are trying to say how you manage the narrative. I listened to Miyetti Allah. They came out to say the truth that none of them or their members were involved in this. None of their members were armed. They are mostly headers. What is the issue in Kwara? What is fight? You came into a place. You are not the original occupant or owner of that place. You came in. They gave you a space. You want to expand. You want to take over, and they are resisting you. You are fighting. Because the government has allowed you. Why would they have that carry AK-47 for crying out loud?
All right, I wanted to come to you with another question. Now, he established something that the office of the NSA is not supposed to have. It's supposed to be an advisory role, National Security Advisor. Now, it has now become that the office of the NSA kind of coordinated among all the military and the police and anything that has to do with security. Good and fine. But do they have an army? If I say an army, do they have a
no, they don't maintain their own force. But I'm also not certain he's outside what is allowed to do. Maybe coordination is also part of his function. You need to check that on the books. But let's put that aside. Let's talk about what is happening. If he's doing what he's not allowed to do, I mean, there is always institution to get him into account for it. After all, they just invited Mallam. He used to so don't worry about it. Let me come back to where I'm going. One that they are now doing.
Yes.
The things that they are doing, what are the results? That is the question. Can you continue to do the same thing you are doing and the results are not working out and you maintain them? We have had people say, that Ribadu need not be retained. That he should have been the first person to be fired as National Security Advisor, being the one coordinating all this, because they've been coordinating failure and they've been coordinating expansion of terrorism. As at the time they took power, we were not classified as a country of particular concern. Today we are. It just came out now that the visa ban by Donald Trump has included Nigeria. I'm not crazy about visa here. I mean, if you don't want to travel, you can remain in Nigeria. But these are indication of how outsiders see you. Mind you, I said it before. I've mentioned it here many times. UN resolution that was adopted in 2001, specifically September 28th of 2001, UN resolution 1373, classified terrorism as a global threat. So by the time we continue with all this nonsense and the foreign power now decide to use Nigeria as a launching ground where to be testing their weapons, we shouldn't complain, because we have the opportunity to nip all these things in the bud. We refuse. We kept playing with them. Conditions given to them by America. Two. One is the Sunday Jackson that was convicted of self-defense should be released, because you don't convict anybody who is defending himself against external aggression. I don't know how they come about that. So that should be talked on. Second one, disarm Fulani militia. Have you disarmed Fulani militia and there are terrorism across Nigeria? Have you done so? What is stopping you from doing so? Why is it difficult for you to do so? Certainly not all Fulanis in Nigeria are criminals, but these ones that are criminals are not of Fulani. They have been identified as such. Why do you allow them to carry AK-47? What is difficult in disarming them? Instead of disarming them, you are creating another group of another Fulani to go and fight them. We are not denying and not denying. How do they arrive at here? The first thing is to disarm them. No Nigerian is moving about carrying AK-47. Disarm these people. What is difficult in doing this? So, have you done that and not get a better result? They have not. Rather, they will continue to pray, will continue to do this, what are we doing?
All right, Peter, the locals, first of all, rejected this plan to arm the militias against the terrorists or bandits. They disagreed. Now, like I said, the matter is in the open now. Are you satisfied with the state government explanation of what happened?
No, I'm not. Most times our so-called elected governors, they play politics with people's lives. They want to be most times politically correct. These states, the locals, they even in the Sarah report, some even come out to say that a lot of the communities, they deserted the communities. Because these Fulani headsmen, you say you engage to protect, are preaching them, they come to a strike. They've left the communities. What has the governor? See, it's easy to deny. What have you done to secure the lives of those that want to stay back in those communities? What have you done? But what has Ribadu and his team done to secure Kwara? So until we begin to take security seriously, forget about politics, forget about what with other regions say. No, Nigerians, see, those who will go need to be alive first. You are going to protect life and property. And you're not treating them as a company, you failed. So for me, as I stand here, I stand with the locals. Those Fulani militias, or whatever they call them, they should be disarmed. They don't have a right to carry AK-47. AK-47 is not like a regular gun. It's not meant for civilians. If you know they go and apply for propulsion. It's a precision gun. It's a military hardware. It's not for civilians. Why would they see? It's so irritating that you see them wear it and they wear their cows and nothing happens. They snap pictures, there are pictures all over the internet, and yet we can't go after them. So, is there something the Nigerian government is not telling us that we need to know? And some people more important, and some people do they have are they excluded from what every person face? If these things we are seeing today, if it happen in the southern part, Nigerian government will invade the community and disarm every person. See what happened in UT. See what happened in Aba when the Kada and people try to react. They went into one location here. They search every houses. So why can't we do this across the board? Why must some people be protected? Nigeria belongs to all of us. These Kwara people, what they say, I concur with them. This is their land. They need to defend their land, and the federal government should come to their aid. It can't be arming those that are attacking them.
All right,
sometimes I ask a question. Our leaders, the heads of our security agencies, do they see the gory pictures that come out from these people's operation? Pulling out pregnant women, their children falling off, cutting people's head, smashing their skulls, and all. Do they see this? Do they see those pictures? I'm worried if they actually see those pictures and still send out this narrative, trying to pump and trying to listen to people like Gumi, who says A today, tomorrow he says B. Where are they from? Where is them? The whole world is moving on technologically. Here we are standing here asking ourselves whether the terrorists that is killing our pregnant women, killing our women, raping our women, whether we are going to, fight them or we are going to actually reward them for committing those terrorism. Isn't it a shame?
There's something that is happening that I don't know what to put it or how to put it. We move on very quickly.
We have not moved on.
No, let me tell you the moving on I'm talking about. The kids kidnapped, I think it was in 2011 during Jonathan's era. We didn't get all of them back till today. The directors that were arrested or kidnapped in Kogi
for Minister of
Defense, we don't know what has happened. The ones in Niger State, 100 have been returned.
The other guys are still.
How many are remaining? That's why I'm saying we move on quickly, and it looks as if we leave the families of those that are.
Yes, that's where I was going. The people affected have not moved on.
Yeah.
The people affected have not moved on. It is government that Section 14 of 1999 Constitution talks about security and the welfare of people being the primary, function of the government.
But the government moves on.
But the government moves on, not the people. The people that their kids are in the bush or unknown places, they having sleepless nights. The people that their farms have been taken over, they're having sleepless nights. The people that have been uprooted from their ancestral home, taken to IDP camp in the same country, that is acceptance by the government that we have lost our territory. It's acceptance by the government that we have ungoverned spaces, that there's places where we cannot protect our citizens. Why will you uproot other communities for another person to come there? And the government does nothing. It is the government that is moving on. The people have actually not moved on. But the people have moved backward. And a lot of people have moved into the grave.
Yes.
And some are just stranded.
And the government also doesn't move on quickly when it comes to taxation. The government doesn't move on quickly when it wants to
let me tell you about this taxation that we are lauding. You see, there's no fast run on this. You can't tax when you are not producing.
Yes, no.
Let me tell you, if you do not handle this tax, maybe Nigerians will protest.
Problem.
And they will use the process to shift it. They should even allow them. Let me tell you, it's been worse than subsidy. The effect of the tax will be so strong on the poor.
The chain effect.
You would think you didn't tax somebody that earns 100,000. But that taxation was going to find its way into the market.
Yes, of course.
When the taxation finds its way into the market, then the poor people will be touched. The effect will be worse than the subsidy. Let's watch. Maybe these people, they think these things operate in a monotonous manner. It is a web of matrix. Economy is a web of matrix. The singular change of one thing can spiral and affect some other things in the way you did not know. Let me tell you, he needs to first of all have what we call a sectional check test. You see, this CSA, it was started by Jonathan. It was not fully implemented by Jonathan. He picked some agencies, they not tested it, how it will work, before Buhari now came and made it. Tinubu needs to first of all test run his policy, have a sample test of an economy, his policy in a place, and see the micro effect, and now expand. Go and check how Chinese people did or they developed. Yes, they will tell you they are going to get a sample farm, do something, see how it goes, expand it, and before you know, it's all over. If there are failures in those micro level, they are able to correct it. If they do that a full blown, yes, it's going to be as terrible as subsidy removal. You can keep this video.
You wanted to say something? For moving on, I want to say that there are one too many for us to keep track of it. When Nigerians moved on. See the water yesterday, before you say it, what has happened. Has the water case been closed? No, what has happened? Who has been arrested? Who has been charged?
Okay, what you are saying is that the case has become too many.
And again, in taxation, this I'm a principal believer of this. You can never tax a out of problem if the structures are not right. If you can't tax a poor man, and now I heard some of his spokespersons coming to say, no, the tax does not affect the poor. What do you mean it doesn't affect the poor? You will tax a multi-billionaire that produces a car. What do you think happened in tax? You put it in the pocket, Sabi? No, you put it in the product.
He shares it down.
The product. What happens to a father man that will buy it? He did not ask him.
Let me tell you,
what happens to him?
the primary purpose of starting a business is to make profit.
Yeah.
For any business to remain, they have to be making profit. So if they're not making profit, they are not going to remain.
All right. Okafor said we should keep this video so that we'll refer back to it. We'll keep the video. And Peter said something very significant. He said, you don't tax yourself out of poverty. He said, when you tax the rich, it cascades down to the poor. We'll be right back.